Hey everyone, welcome back to another video on my channel. This time I thought I'd shake things up, do something a little bit different, and give my opinion where nobody asked for it. So last week, Sim Guru Frost announced on Twitter that PSA to all Simmers, the last community survey was awesome. We got a ton of great feedback and I appreciate everyone who spent the time to complete it. We are back with another community survey. It's only 9 questions long and takes about 8 to 10 minutes. So as soon as I saw that pop up on Twitter, I posted this, which says, I wish I had filmed a reaction when I opened this because I just said holy shit out loud when I read one of the options. Can you guess which one it is? And to be honest with you guys, I actually said holy shit and then closed down the survey and didn't take it because I was just like in that much shock that I just couldn't gather my thoughts. So I thought I would film a video going through all the options of this community survey. And we have to remember when we're taking these community surveys that they're for potential ideas and content to come to The Sims 4. And so not necessarily everything that is voted for is going to be included in the game. And I think that's something that we need to keep in mind. So let's hop right to it and get into the April 2020 community survey. So here are the options, and before I go through the options, just as I'm going through, take a little mental note about what you think made me say holy mother forking shirt balls, because I was just so shocked that this could potentially come to the game in the future. So, culinary quest. Take on the role of master chef, find the best ingredients, create recipes, and keep the kitchen running through the dinner rush. Now, I feel like this could have been something that came with Dine Out. Also, I'm pretty sure there's a chef's career or culinary career in The Sims 4. So why was this not already included? Fan club creator. Immerse your Sims in fandom, create fan clubs, collect rare memorabilia, and express your love, drive a craze that could take over the town. Again, I feel like this would work well with Get Famous, but then again, why wasn't it already in Get Famous? And I feel like these are more geared towards older Sims, like young adult and upwards, and I feel like we need things for the younger generation or for elders. That's where my head's at. Right. If you guys haven't guessed already, this is the one that made me go, holy shit. NPC story progression. Now your neighbors come to life. Sims outside of your household live their lives from birth, marriage, and death. Imagine the possibilities when the drama can start next door. Now, when I first read this, I've already told you what my reaction was, and I was super duper excited, but then I thought, The Sims is a life simulator. Why is life not happening in the background? I mean, The Sims 4 is going to be 6 in September of this year, and we're just now thinking of implementing story progression. I feel like this is a little too late. It already should have been in the game. I'm super excited if this is something that gets implemented to see how it works within the game, but yeah. It's a life simulator. We're meant to be playing with life, and life is meant to be happening around our Sims in the background. So I would have liked to see this years ago. Shopping malls. All your retail needs under one roof. Hang out, find deals, and discover that perfect outfit for the night ahead in a full retail experience. Mall cop included. Paul Blart, mall cop. Not really interested in that one. Unless, I feel like the only thing with shopping malls that I would like to see is maybe having residences above commercial spaces. I don't know if it would fall under that category because I've never heard of anybody living over a mall, but it could be interesting. Cheer. Immerse yourself in the world of cheerleading where focus is king and distractions are dangerous. Keep the team together, build routines, and make sure to stick the landing. I'm not too fussed on this option, to be honest with you. I mean, cheerleading is hardcore. If you guys haven't seen Cheer on Netflix, I highly recommend it because it is absolutely crazy. But I feel like with something like this, if it was implemented, it'd be like one thing, or it'd be something that you play through once and then you're like, okay, I'm done type of thing. Or you could have like mishaps like the scene from Dodgeball, because that is pretty good. Growing pains and life issues. Life is hard. Now your Sims feel those physical and emotional changes as they grow up. Realistic reactions and emotions bring deeper connections to the world around them. This is really interesting, and again, something that I would love to see implemented. But again, I feel like it falls under the NPC story progression. Why isn't this something, if we've been meant to be playing with life, why hasn't this already been in the game? Like, there should be deeper connections to the world around our Sims, and we should already be seeing all these realistic reactions and emotions, but that's just my opinion. Heist. Whether you're an aspiring Debbie or Danny Ocean, bring your team to seek out and recover the stolen artifacts to return them to their rightful owners. Can you execute the perfect plan, or will your team end up in the slammer? This sounds interesting, and maybe with heists will come police officers, burglars, that you can actually see, NPCs that you can actually see. But again, I feel like this falls under the same category as the other things I've said. Why hasn't this already been in the game? Modern love and romance. From love at first sight to digital dating, discover a wide variety of relationship types for your Sims. Explore their desires, tastes, and preference. Take them on a journey to discover what works for them. This is something that would be really, really cool, because the romance in The Sims 4 isn't that deep, and I like how it says desires, tastes, and preferences. So does that mean something like favorites are coming back? Favorite food, favorite color, things that make Sims compatible, things that turn Sims off. Maybe turn-offs and turn-ons will come back. Wants and fears maybe will fall under this. So this could be really, really interesting. But again, it falls under the same category of, why wasn't this already in the game or implemented with an expansion pack? I mean, we are almost 6 years in, so to me that's crazy, but that is very, very interesting. American high schools. Cafeteria cliques, racy relationships, and SAT struggles. The halls are alive with the sound of drama. I don't know if I'm really into this option. Like, it would be good for teens to have more to do, but that's really all I can say about this. I don't know if I would want something like that coming into the game, but it could be interesting. I mean, anything that sort of brings drama to The Sims 4 and things that would make it so there's more consequences, that would be interesting. But I don't know if I like the idea of American high schools. And I lived that. Why would I want to go back? Bands. Go solo or build your supergroup. Find your style and perform your way from YouTube celebrity to sold out stadiums. Feel the pressure and demands of keeping the band together, record company demands, and the needs of your adoring fans. I know a lot of people have been saying how they want bands in the game, and I think it would be cool to have bands, but this whole like YouTube celebrity stuff, I feel like The Sims 4 is very much in the now, and it makes it very hard to have like past eras or future eras, because it's so set in 2020, and it kind of makes it difficult to play the game how you want to play it, especially with things like a YouTube celebrity and things like that, because 10 years from now, is that even going to be relevant? And so yeah, I'm a little bit iffy on the whole YouTube celebrity thing, but having bands in the game could be pretty cool. So I need to, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is the highest and 1 is the lowest, say how interested I am in the above ideas. So I'm going to go ahead and do this very, very quickly, and then we will move on to the next question. There's where I've ranked everything. These 3, growing pains and life issues, modern love and romance, NPC story progression, those are something that I'm very interested in, because I feel like it would make the game feel more alive, and there's a chance for drama, there's a chance for consequences, and I think that's something that The Sims 4 desperately needs. It needs something that's going to make it feel alive and like you're actually playing a life simulator, and I think these 3 things are my top and would definitely help with that. So let's move on to number 2. Please rank the following ideas, with 1 being your most and 10 being your least wanted. So I'm going to do that very, very quickly. Here I go. Here is how I have ranked these. NPC story progression, I mean, that is just my number 1 thing. Holy mother forking shirt balls. I would love that if that came to the game. Growing pains and life issues. I feel like this could be something that would coincide with generations. So I think that would be really, really awesome to come to the game. And then modern love and romance with the drama, with the consequences. I think that would be really, really cool. And then I went for bands as my number 4, heists, culinary quest, shopping malls, American high school cheer, and fan club creator. Please rank the following locales, with 1 being your most wanted and 10 being your least wanted. Ooh, this is interesting. This might take me a bit. I've ranked Scottish Highlands first, then we have Italian vineyards, Swiss mountain town, Greek islands, Spanish cities, South African city, Chinese countryside, Brazilian beach town, Costa Rican rainforest, and a Korean city. But actually saying that, a Swiss mountain town may come with snow and like skiing and snowboarding and snow activities, so I've moved that up to number 2 because that could be quite cool. Greek islands, I've always wanted to go to Greece, so I feel like that could be beautiful. Italian vineyards, let's get the nectar out. Spanish city, South African city, we haven't had a city since San Myshuno, so I think it would be cool to have another new city. And then we've got the Chinese countryside, which could be very, very interesting. I don't know much about the Chinese countryside. A Brazilian beach town, and we just got Sulani, so that's why it's all the way down there. And the Costa Rican rainforest, we've got the world that came with Jungle Adventures. I know you can't live there, but that's why it's down at the bottom. And then a Korean city, I don't know, the Spanish city and the South African city just sound a little bit better to me, so that's how I've ranked those. On a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is the highest and 1 is the lowest, how interested are you in the Sims team in deepening the existing content below? Right, before I start this, I just have to say, why are we deepening existing content? Why isn't it deep from the very, very beginning? That's just my number 1 question right there. However, I'm very interested in deepening existing content, but I just think it's something that should have been deep to begin with. Anyway, let's have a look at our options. So we've got family evolution outside the household, long-term desires, being born with traits, connections to family members outside of the household, short-term desires, developing traits over time, consequences of making or breaking relationships, emotions. Wait a second, wasn't emotions one of their major selling points for The Sims 4? That's funny. Control of Sims that are not currently on the active lot. Right, so I know I'm not really interested in that. Emotions, one of their major selling points. I mean, but I am interested in that. Consequences of making or breaking relationships. That's pretty up there. Developing traits over time. I think that would be so cool, because I know as a person, I'm not the same person I was when I was like 2 years old. My traits and my personality have definitely changed. So I think that would be really cool to reflect that in The Sims. Short-term desires would be really cool as well. Connections to family members outside of the household. That could be very interesting as well, because maybe it would bring in more relationships as well. So you could have like cousins, aunts and uncles, half brothers and sisters, ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends. Do you know what I mean? So that would be very, very interesting, and it would tie into the whole NPC story progression. So I am interested in that. Being born with traits. Now, I know in The Sims 3 that you're born with 1 or 2 traits, I think it's 2 traits. But sometimes they don't make sense. So if you're going to be born with traits, I think it should be traits that are only for newborns or babies. And then those traits, unless they're relevant to toddlers and maybe children, should go away. But the traits that you're born with are not necessarily the traits that you have once you become a grown-up. So I'm interested in that. Long-term desires, interested in that. And family evolution outside the household, interested in that, because that could be a play on generations as well. So that is very, very interesting to think about. Right, Please rank the existing content based on what you would like the Sims team to deepen, with 1 being your most wanted and 9 being your least wanted. Okay, this one was really hard to rank all of these from 1 to 9 because I would love to see emotions be deepened, but it's all the way down at number 6. And then consequences of making or breaking relationship. The Sims 4 definitely needs more consequences, more bad things to happen, but that's all the way at number 5. Being born with traits and developing traits over time, I think is just really cool, and I think that is something that it should definitely deepen, definitely take a look at. And then also the family aspect. I think a lot of people are crying out for a generations type of pack, so getting deeper into the family evolution and connections to family members outside of the household, I think would just be amazing, because there are so many things that the team could do with this, and there's so many ways that they could take it. So I would love to see those two things deepen. Which of the following Create a Sim categories would you want to see additional content for? That was a little bit difficult. Definitely we need more makeup options. And I feel like the Sims should employ Cryptic Sims because he makes the best makeup ever. I've got most of his collections in my game, and I just love the makeup that he makes for the Sims 4. So, you know, if any of the gurus are watching this, please employ Cryptic Sims because he is a godsend to the community. Hair and accessories, and yeah, that's pretty much that. What new Create a Sim categories would you like to see added into The Sims 4? Please pick at least one and no more than 3 answers. Holy shnikes. Right, body hair is a definite. I do like a bit of smooth skin. However, body hair is definitely one that I would love to see. Stretch marks would be quite interesting. And then this is something that I have always wanted in The Sims. It may be ridiculous. However, I would love to see finger nail / toenail polish. It's a very, very strange thing, but I feel like fingers and tootsies should be painted. Please rank the following life stages based on which you would like to have more Create a Sim assets for, 1 being your most wanted and 5 being your least wanted. I feel like the team missed a trick here because there's no teens on this list, and also elders, adults, and young adults. Can't they all wear the same clothes and basically have the same things? So I feel like there's not a distinction between those 3 age stages, whereas with toddlers and children and teens, there's a massive distinction, and they get, well, actually, I think teens fall into the same category as elders, adults, and young adults. I'm pretty sure all 4 of those age stages can wear the exact same clothes. So I think it would have been cool if teens were included in this and they could have their own separate categories. But definitely toddlers and children need a lot of love in Create a Sim. I feel like they get left out a lot of times in the packs that are released, and Sims 4 is very much focused on teens and upwards. So yeah, I'm a bit upset that teens weren't in there. Please rank the following life stages based on which you would like to see additional gameplay for, with 1 being your most wanted and 6 being your least wanted. Right, number 1 is babies, hands down. I made a video probably a year and a half ago on freeing babies from their bassinets, so I've got to say that babies are number 1. However, let me just put these in order because this is super easy for me. Like I said on the previous page, there's no distinction between adults, young adults, and teens. So I feel like they need their own separate category, their own additional gameplay. But number 1 is definitely babies. The baby stage could be so dynamic. I mean, like I said, I made an entire video on how babies could be improved, and they just need to be freed from their bassinets because, you know, I feel like if they were more interesting to play with, more people would play with them instead of just aging them up. What do you expect people to do if they're chained to their bassinet? Of course they're going to age them up because they're boring. There's only like 3 interactions that you can do with babies. Now, elders. I think historically elders have been probably one of the least played age stages, life stages. But again, it's because they get old and then they die and there's nothing for them to do. So you could have a whole host of things for elders to do, like go into a retirement home, sit in a rocking chair and knit, have their grandkids over when the parents want a date night, cook with their grandkids, teach their grandkids things. They could pass things down through the generations and like share their memories. You know, when I was a kid, I used to walk uphill to school in the snow for a mile. You know, you could have grumpy elders. There's just so many things that elders could do that I would love to see. And they're definitely one of the life stages that need a lot of love and a lot of additional gameplay. Children, there's not a lot for children to do in The Sims 4 if you really, really break it down, really think about it. So that's why they're at number 3. And then toddlers. Now, the toddlers in Sims 4 are probably some of the best toddlers that the Sims have ever made. However, there's just not a lot for them to do, really. They're kind of like mini kids. They kind of just run around and terrorize things. So that's why they're lower down on the list. And then adults and young adults. I feel like The Sims 4 is very much geared towards adults, young adults, and even teens to some extent. So that's why they are so low down on the list. But I'm pretty sure that is it. We are all done. So I know nobody asked for my opinion, but I said what I said, and that's what I wanted to say. In all honesty though, guys, if you took the survey, let me know how you guys voted down below in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions. I desperately want NPC story progression, better babies, better elders. Those life stages definitely need the most love in the series, and also consequences. So anything that'll bring consequences and sort of bad things to the game, I would love that. Deeper relationships, deeper romantic interactions. Those are the things that I would really love to see implemented into The Sims 4 or even future iterations that come along in the series. That would just make my day. So I really hope that the gurus, that the producers are listening to the feedback that the community is giving them, because we've got a lot to say and there are just so many things that could make this game a whole heck of a lot better. But I have rambled on enough, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up here. If you enjoyed it, make sure to do all those cool interweb things, like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you've got that bell ding dong so you can be notified whenever I do upload. But for now, I'm gonna skedaddle. Don't be a plum stranger now, guys.